Hello, hi. Okay, welcome back. So one of the questions I was asked with regard to the trauma responses over on Instagram was, does this just mean that I am perpetually stuck with this trauma response? This particular person was asking questions about the freeze trauma response. And so it doesn't matter what your trauma response is, the choice is yours. And I know it feels when you're in it that you have no choice, that you are just a victim to this. And to a large degree, up until now, you have been a victim to this. And now I'm going to give you skills to teach you to learn how to heal these wounds. And first and foremost, you're going to learn to have to be absolutely honest with yourself, patient with yourself, and very loving with yourself. Honest with yourself because you're going to have to ask yourself some hard questions to get to the root of your fear. So if we're dealing with a trauma response, the core, if we're going to just peel away all the other emotions, if you are an anger person and we pull it away, at the root of that is fear. If you are a flight person, we pull it away, at the root of that is fear. With regards to the freeze response, again, it's fear. You don't know how to be, you don't know how to react, so you just totally cut off from your mind and your body and you disassociate. The fawn, the codependent, the people pleaser, again, it's fear. If we're going to just take all the layers away and we get to the bottom of it all, what we're dealing with is fear. And so fear is an emotion just like any other emotion, and the way to deal with fear is to move towards it, to lean into it, and to experience the emotion. And I know it sounds really scary and really overwhelming and contrary to what our body actually wants us to do, but it is the best way to conquer it. So to begin with, what you're going to do is you're going to look at what that fear is. Is it fear of not being loved? Is it fear of not being accepted? For most people, as I'm sure you know, there's a huge I am enough movement. For most people, it's that fear of not being enough. So again, not being lovable, something wrong with me, perhaps, is the thought that you might have. And one, I'd like you to know your value is absolute. It doesn't matter what you've done, it doesn't matter where you've been, what you've seen, what you've experienced, what you've gone through. Your value is absolute. So that's first and foremost. And I know that that is really, really difficult to believe at this time. But what we're going to do is we're going to get there. We're going to get you to understand it intellectually, to understand it on a heart level. And so first what I want you to do is just sit with yourself and welcome that fear. Make friends with that fear. Think of scenarios, situations, and let's start really small. Let's not overwhelm us. Let's start really, really small. Think of something that might cause a little bit of anxiety within you, a little bit of that fight-flight response, the bubbles coming up, the freeze response, the fawn response, whichever it is that kicks out in you. Think of something that triggers it that is small. Okay, you don't want to put on too much right now. We're going to do this in baby steps. And I want you to kind of rate where that fear is. And I'd like it to be quite a small fear. So try and rate it at about the level of 2, 3, 4. Okay, don't go more than that. And let's look at what that fear is and let's ask that fear some questions. So we're going to welcome that fear. So I don't want you to say, I am fear, because I want you to disassociate from it. I want you to recognize it as an emotion that has come to just warn you of something, to bring you a message, to not be a part of you. I don't want you to identify with that emotion. It's just a messenger. That's it. So I want you to kind of just sit with it and say, oh, okay, fears come to visit me again. I know fear. I've experienced fear. I'm familiar with fear. Fear is my old friend. Hello, fear. Okay? And just make peace with fear. Breathe into it. Just take some deep breaths in. Hold your breath. Deep breaths out. Hold your breath. If you can, do it to the count of 4. Some people battle with the holding it at the end. But if you can, take a deep breath in to the count of 4. Hold to the count of 4. Breathe out to the count of 4. Hold to the count of 4. That's called square breathing. And while you are doing that, find a quiet place where you can sit. You can be alone. You can do your breathing. And you're going to welcome fear. And you're going to say, welcome fear. You've come to teach me something. You've come to share a message with me. There is something I need to know. I need to be aware of. And then you're going to ask that fear some questions. All right? Why are you here? What do I need to know? What am I concerned about? And each answer that comes up, I want you to ask why. Why am I worried about that? What am I making this mean about me? At this point, what we want to do is we just want to raise awareness. We can't change anything if we're not aware of what is going on with us. And so the process of healing is a lot of self-reflection, a lot of awareness. And for my fawns out there, my codependents, my fellow codependents, I'm a recovering codependent, it is about getting to know yourself. My freeze guys out there, my ones who like to crawl into bed and pull a duvet over their head, I've done that many times in my life. It is about stopping yourself from numbing, all right, and not feeling, and it's about connecting and interacting with it. The guys that flee, my fleers, I've done that too. It's about now, remember I said to you in that video, it's about learning to sit. Now you're going to sit and know who you are on a very intimate level, all right? My fight guys, you have a lot of built up anger, and the anger is about what has happened. Perhaps you feel disrespected, perhaps you feel unlovable, whatever that is, it's now learning new skills so that you can cope better and more effectively. And it's again about understanding your core fear. So you're going to start with just giving yourself very superficial answers. And that's okay. That's all right. Write them down, ponder them, think about them, and ask yourself deeper questions about the answers you've already given yourself until you get to that answer, and you will know you've got that answer. You will know without a doubt that this is your core fear. Okay. And so to begin with, that's all we want to do, is we just want to bring awareness, because awareness gives us leverage over our brains. Another nice thing that I like to do while working through this process is to perhaps write it down. Do a brain dump. So you want to write what it is you're feeling. Start with the day. Oh, I'm frustrated because blogs did this, or I'm offended, or I'm hurt, or I'm frustrated, or whatever that surface level feeling is. Start with recognizing what that is and owning that feeling and recognizing it. Again, you don't want to say I am, you want to say I'm feeling, or the feeling that I have, all right, or the feeling that's visiting me, whatever that might be. This is a feeling that I have that is triggering for me, that I'm not happy about something. And maybe just start off with your day and then ask yourself questions about, why did that upset me so much? And be honest and think and open yourself up to going back to what is at the root. What happened as a child that had similarities to this? Where were there parallels as a child? Who is it that I'm really upset with? What actually is hurting me here? What is it that I need to make peace with? What is it that I need to deal with? And this can take time. So sometimes the answer is not necessarily going to come to you while you're writing or while you're sitting quietly thinking and pondering about it and meditating upon it. It might not come in those moments. Often what we do is we need to build up a relationship of trust with ourselves. We have a very loud inner critic that likes to berate us and beat up upon us and shout at us and call all the odds and put us down. And what we want to do now is we want to quieten that voice. We want to tell that voice to just be quiet. We love you. Thank you for being there and for helping me and for helping me survive to this point in my life. But now I need to get to something deeper. I need to get to the core wounds. I don't need this protection. We're not going to sweep things under the carpet anymore. We're not going to bury them. We're not going to ignore them. We're not going to pretend they're not there. Now's the time that we face them, we deal with them, and ultimately what we want to do is make peace with them, because acceptance is our ultimate goal. And I know that that scares a lot of people, because when we hear that word acceptance, we think, but that's just giving people free passes. That's just saying that it's okay. That's just saying that what happened was all right, or whatever. We seem to feel quite indignant to the word acceptance. And it's not about that. It's making peace with what is. There are lessons that are here that we can use to learn to grow, to be better versions of ourselves as part of our journey. And that's what we want to do here. That's why, first and foremost, first step, remember I said to you this is going to be a process, is we need to spend some time getting to know ourselves.